Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis finally got a release date. And this is probably the most badass thing I could have heard all day. Now, yes, I am a little bit late, just a tad bit, just a little bit late. But I want to talk about Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. This is probably by far one of Square Enix's most, what's the word I can really put to it? One of their most anticipated RPGs to drop on mobile. Now, for some of you who probably don't know, Ever Crisis is the new quote-unquote story or new quote-unquote game that is coming to mobile by Square Enix featuring the Final Fantasy world. Now, I was able to actually play the closed beta long ago. I actually have it on my channel. I'll leave the card in the top right-hand corner. But essentially, this is based on the Final Fantasy VII universe, and it's going to be free to play. It's going to be on iOS and Android. And of course, people can pre-register right now for it. So news just came about that Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis will be releasing in September 7th, 2023. This is supposed to be a single-player, chapter-based title that covers key events from a cassette of games. So the original Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, Before Crisis Final Fantasy VII, and then Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII, and then Dirge of Cerberus Final Fantasy VII. Literally 5 different stories based on the Final Fantasy VII universe, right? Now, of course, for a lot of fans of that particular universe, just keep in mind that all of that will be in bite-sized chunks. So I want to talk about Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis from my point of view, from when I was actually able to play it. And of course, the very first thing you'll be playing is the overall Final Fantasy VII storyline, right? So back when Final Fantasy VII was out on early access, I swear this gacha took over the entire mobile market for so many reasons. And trust me, I was very impressed on the quality of this game. This game was announced only back at the Summer's Game Fest earlier this year. And whew, sheesh, this game was mad fire. You already know your boy Chaos had to get his hands on it. But the best way, let's talk a little bit about the graphics, just to kind of give you guys a general idea, just to ride that hype train to get you guys hyped and ready. Please have a phone that is actually able to play this game, because bro, I swear to God, this game is good. You need to play it. You need to play it. So the graphics and visuals, it literally feels like you're having a AAA experience. It's literally a mix of the original Final Fantasy VII during exploration moments, and then once combat happens, it actually would form itself and then become the Final Fantasy VII remake, which honestly, that blend of just like the chibi miniature style and then mixing right into, if you guys have seen gameplay of the remake or actually play the remake or anything like that, that is essentially what you're playing, but on your mobile devices. So the best way to really say it, to sum that up, is that Final Fantasy VII remake, but turn it into a mobile game, right? So now a little bit of the gameplay mechanics. Auto combat, yes, it is a gacha game. It does have auto combat. The auto battle function comes in 2 different modes. The semi and full auto mode. Semi will automatically use the appropriate skills when a character has enough ATB gauge. Yes, that is back as well. While full auto will also automate stance switching as well. Now, for some of you who may not be too familiar with the ATB gauge, well, I'm gonna explain it just a little bit. It comes back from the remake, which is a 2-section bar that fills up over time. Depending on what spells you have will depend on how much you have to wait for your particular ability to fill up in order for you to use it. Now, there are 2 different stances as well, which you have your attack and defense. The defense stance basically decreases the amount of incoming damage the party actually takes. It also increases the potency of all your healing spells cast when this stance is active, while of course on the complete other side, the offensive stance, as you will expect, buffs all the damage you're dealing while you're in that stance. Now, of course, this is a Final Fantasy VII gacha game, so mainly you'll be pulling for equipment to equip onto your favorite heroes. So gear, of course, weapons. Like, there's not much of characters because, you know, it's just a Final Fantasy VII universe. So their main way, from what I noticed in the early access, was we were pulling for mainly weapons. Now, of course, things might change when the game fully releases, and I'll definitely be playing that day 1. Now, a little bit about the storyline and some of the characters. Each level will show you what type of level it is, so you can kind of already get a gist of whether this is going to be more of a talking or furthering the story type of level, whether this is a combative level or just exploring the areas to just get more of that visual storytelling and see what's going on in the world of Final Fantasy VII. The score, like I said, the story consists of all 5 major entry points of Final Fantasy VII, but do not expect an in-depth, complete retelling when it comes to these stories. They're all served up as bite-sized chunks that go over the significant events of each series. So it may not be full-fledged like playing the actual PlayStation 1 Final Fantasy VII counterparts and all the other games. Like, no, this is just trying to get those stories, but in a much smaller bite-sized bit, right? Honestly, in my opinion, I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy VII, and I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy IX as well. But I feel like this will probably be the best Final Fantasy game on mobile, in my honest opinion. But Square Enix has made a lot of games. I feel like this right here is going to take the cake and just dominate all of 2023 for the rest of it, really, and for years to come. Overall, this is going to be a brand new Final Fantasy VII experience on a whole new level. If you have never played Final Fantasy VII, or if you haven't played the remake and you actually want to experience this game, then when it fully releases, then this is the perfect time to jump in and get a feel for the Final Fantasy VII overall. Like I said, it's supposed to release September 7, 2023 on iOS and Android. Definitely make sure you have a mid-tier phone or a flagship phone, because if you have a low-end phone on either side, you won't be able to play it. Sadly enough, this thing is graphically intensive. It will run your processor chip heavily. It's crazy. But what do you guys think about Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis releasing in September, which is literally not even a couple weeks from now? Would you guys be jumping into it? If so, I'll be seeing you there. If you want to talk more about RPGs outside of YouTube, then definitely join my Discord in the description below as well. If you have any questions, concerns, anything like that, will you be playing it, let me know in the comment section below. Definitely like the video. You gotta give it props, show it off to your friends. It's his hype train is here. Also, subscribe to the channel. Your boy's on his way to 1,000 subscribers. I'm that close, almost 200 away. Help me out on that goal. I love you always. But as always, it's been your host, KSDTV, here at Chaotic Inc., signing out. Peace.
I make a manifest. I don't sleep, that's so weak, don't plan to rest. I'm from a hood where you die if you don't pack a vest. No culinary degrees, but whipping crack the best. Chefing, hard times taught lessons. Praying every night to pull up in park Benzes. What's my home is what you call trenches. You wouldn't last a day seeing life through all lenses. It's all tension, no sun, and rain and plenty. Full-time job, still can never make a penny.